There's a side of the Zodiac most people only whisper about, the part that doesn't want to be seen, the smile that's perfectly timed, the silence that feels like a threat, the calm voice that can cut deeper than shouting ever could. We call it psychopathic because it sounds dramatic, because it scares us, because it names a feeling we've had around certain people, the sense that something is watching you from behind their eyes. But let's be clear before we go any deeper. Astrology is not a clinical diagnosis, and this video is not here to label anyone as a psychopath. What we're talking about is shadow energy, dark traits that can look cold, calculating or ruthless when a sign is unhealed, wounded, or addicted to control. Every sign has light, every sign has shadow, and the point of seeing the shadow isn't to shame it, it's to transform it. If you've ever loved someone who felt emotionally unreachable, or been manipulated by someone who seemed charming until the mask slipped, you already know why this matters. So if this kind of truth helps you heal and sharpen your intuition, subscribe to Signs and Secrets now, because this channel is where the unseen becomes understandable and where pain turns into power without turning you bitter. Psychopathic energy in spiritual language is often the survival self wearing a crown. It's the part of a person that learned early, if I feel, I lose. So they replace feeling with strategy. They replace vulnerability with performance. They replace love with leverage. And the scariest part is that they may not even realize they're doing it, because what looks like cruelty to you can feel like protection to them. The Zodiac doesn't create monsters, it reveals patterns, and patterns can be healed. The top 4 signs on this list are not evil. They're potent, they're intense. They're the ones most likely to develop a weapon out of their strengths when life has taught them that softness is dangerous. If you recognize yourself in these descriptions, don't flinch. This isn't an accusation, it's a mirror, and mirrors are how we return to our soul. The first sign is Scorpio. Scorpio doesn't play with emotions. They live in the underworld of them. They feel what others pretend not to feel. They sense betrayal before it happens. They read your motives the way most people read text messages. And in their healed form, that depth becomes loyalty that can move mountains. But in their shadow form, it becomes control disguised as love. Scorpio shadow can look like psychological warfare without raising its voice. They can ask a question that sounds innocent but is actually a trap door. They can hold on to information the way a scorpion holds venom, quietly, patiently, waiting for the right moment. Not because they enjoy harm, but because they fear being powerless. If they were betrayed once, they may decide never to be surprised again. And that decision can turn them into someone who tests people, manipulates situations, and keeps emotional receipts like they're preparing for court. What makes Scorpio feel psychopathic to some people is their relationship with secrets. Scorpio can love you while hiding parts of themselves behind locked doors. They can protect you and punish you in the same week. They can give devotion and demand obedience, not with words, but with energy. The unhealed Scorpio doesn't just want love, they want certainty. And when certainty is impossible, they try to create it through control. But Scorpio's healing is also one of the most beautiful transformations in the Zodiac. Because when Scorpio chooses to heal, they stop using intuition as a weapon and start using it as a lantern. They don't dig for weaknesses, they dig for truth. They stop testing loyalty and start building it. They learn that real power doesn't come from being feared, it comes from being trusted. And Scorpio, when awakened, becomes a protector of the soul, someone who can sit with pain without turning it into poison. The second sign is Capricorn. Capricorn shadow is the iceberg that doesn't apologize for being cold. They learn early that life rewards discipline, not feelings. They watch the world punish softness and praise results. So they build a spine out of ambition, and they make success their shield. In their light, Capricorn is integrity, responsibility, and devotion expressed through action. But in their shadow, Capricorn can become ruthless in a way that feels surgical. A shadow Capricorn can treat people like positions, like assets, like stepping stones. They may not even mean to because they see the world through structure, who's reliable, who's useful, who's wasting time. And when they're hurt, they don't cry in public. They calculate, they distance, they erase. They can cut someone off with a calm that feels inhuman, not because they don't feel, but because they refuse to let anyone see them bleed. What makes Capricorn feel psychopathic is their emotional restraint combined with strategic patience. They can play the long game. They can smile while deciding you won't be part of their future. They can withhold affection like a negotiation tactic. And if their shadow is strong, they can convince themselves that their hardness is maturity, when it's actually fear wearing a suit. But Capricorn's redemption is just as powerful as their shadow. Because the moment Capricorn learns that vulnerability is not weakness, they become unstoppable in the healthiest way. They stop using control to avoid pain and start using discipline to build love that lasts. They learn to let people see the human behind the armor. And when Capricorn becomes emotionally awake, they don't just climb mountains. They become the kind of partner, friend, or leader who builds safe ground for others to stand on. Join as a member to support the channel and unlock exclusive content. Now, the third sign is Gemini. Gemini shadow isn't always dark in a dramatic way. Sometimes it's bright, funny, magnetic. The kind of person who can walk into a room and make everyone feel chosen, until you realize you never truly met them. Gemini is the sign of duality, perception, and mental speed. In their light, they are brilliant communicators, adaptable thinkers, and social healers who bring air to suffocating spaces. But in their shadow, that same mental agility can become manipulation. A shadow Gemini can shapeshift based on the audience. They can tell you what you want to hear without even thinking about it. They can switch stories, switch tones, switch loyalties, and still look innocent because they're so convincing. They don't always do it to harm. Sometimes they do it to survive, to be liked, to avoid conflict, to avoid being pinned down by expectations. But avoidance, when repeated, becomes a form of betrayal. What makes Gemini feel psychopathic is the emotional detachment that can come from living in the mind. They can analyze feelings instead of feeling them. They can talk about pain like a headline rather than a wound. And if their shadow is deep, they can weaponize charm, turning connection into a game, intimacy into a performance, truth into something optional. Gemini's shadow can be the person who disappears when things get real. The one who flirts with your soul, then acts like you imagined it. The one who can make you question your memory because their words are so quick and their confidence is so smooth. And that's why Gemini, unhealed, can leave behind a specific kind of heartbreak. Not the heartbreak of being rejected, but the heartbreak of being confused. If you're feeling this in your chest right now, take a breath. And if this video is helping you name patterns you've lived through, hit like right now. Not for the algorithm alone, but as a promise to yourself that you're done ignoring red flags just because someone is charming. But Gemini can also heal in a way that turns their duality into wisdom instead of deception. When Gemini learns emotional accountability, they become one of the most honest signs because they can finally integrate their two sides into one whole self. They stop performing and start revealing. They stop running from depth and start using their words to create clarity. Healed Gemini becomes a translator between hearts, someone who can speak truth gently and help others understand themselves without judgment. And now the fourth sign is Aquarius. Aquarius' shadow is the icy genius, the one who sees the world like a system, not a feeling. Aquarius is future-minded, independent, and often emotionally complex in a way people misunderstand. In their light, Aquarius is humanitarian, visionary, and brave enough to be different, but in their shadow, that distance can turn into a kind of emotional exile, where they watch human pain from behind glass. A shadow Aquarius can detach so hard that it feels like they don't care. They can intellectualize trauma, rationalize cruelty, and call it logic. They can keep people at arm's length while still enjoying the benefits of connection. And if their shadow is strong, they can become the kind of person who treats emotions like inconveniences and intimacy like something that steals their freedom. What makes Aquarius feel psychopathic is not loud aggression. It's quiet indifference. It's the ability to walk away without looking back. It's the cold decision made in the name of what makes sense, even when hearts are breaking. And because Aquarius often believes in principles, they can justify almost anything if it fits their mental framework. They can become loyal to ideas and disloyal to people without noticing the damage they leave behind. But Aquarius is also one of the most spiritually advanced signs when healed, because their detachment can evolve into true objectivity. Not indifference, but wisdom. Healed Aquarius learns that love is not a cage. It's a choice. They learn that being emotionally present doesn't erase their individuality, it deepens it. And when Aquarius opens their heart, they become a safe place for people who've never felt understood. They become the friend who sees your strange, complicated inner world and doesn't flinch. Now here's the part most people miss. These dark traits don't appear out of nowhere. They're often forged in pain. Scorpio shadow is a response to betrayal. Capricorn shadow is a response to instability. Gemini shadow is a response to feeling trapped or unseen. Aquarius shadow is a response to emotional overwhelm and disappointment in humanity. The shadow is a coping strategy that got too good at its job. And if you're listening and realizing, I've done some of these things, that doesn't make you broken. It makes you aware. And awareness is the moment the spell breaks. Because the moment you can name the pattern, you can change the pattern. If you've ever been on the receiving end of these shadows, this is your permission to stop romanticizing danger, to stop mistaking intensity for intimacy, to stop confusing emotional unavailability for mystery. You deserve love that doesn't require you to decode someone's moods like a secret language. You deserve honesty that doesn't arrive only after damage is done. You deserve a connection that doesn't punish you for having a heart. And if you want to make this personal, I want you to comment your date of birth and your zodiac sign below. And if you're comfortable, tell us which sign has challenged your heart the most. Not to attack anyone, but to bring clarity, to compare patterns, and to help each other heal through shared truth. Because spiritual maturity isn't about pretending darkness doesn't exist. It's about learning how to hold it without becoming it. It's about meeting the shadow with light, strong enough to transform it. And sometimes, the most psychopathic energy isn't in another person. It's in the version of us that learned to shut down, to manipulate, to control, to disappear just to avoid feeling pain again. So here's your closing message. The Zodiac doesn't doom you. It reveals you. You are not your worst coping mechanism. You are not the mask you built to survive. You are the soul underneath it, still capable of healing, still capable of love, still capable of choosing a different ending. If this video gave you clarity, like the video again and subscribe to Signs and Secrets, because we go into the hidden layers people avoid, and we do it with truth that heals, not truth that shames. And remember, the shadow doesn't mean you're evil, it means you're unintegrated. And the moment you decide to become whole, the darkness stops running your life. If you want to hear everything the universe has to say to you, watch these other videos on our channel.